Please pick G2! Please! Please! Please pick G2!
And they will be playing against?
Please! Or BLG! G2 or BLG, don't fuck with me! G2 or BLG, don't fuck with me!
Team Liquid Honda. G2 Esports.
So my pick'ems, I got 6 plus 20. G2 and DK didn't make it. We'll have a moment of silence for G2 and DK. Now you gotta go to your pick'ems and pick the quarterfinals winners. LNG versus Weibo. This is really hard to predict. The reason this is hard to predict, the easy option is LNG. Okay? The safest option is LNG. Now, LNG and Weibo played against each other twice recently in LPL summer playoffs and the regionals. They played against them in the playoffs and lost LNG in a 5-game series. But then they went into the regionals and 3-0'd them. And LNG is looking good. And this 3-0 was a monster stomp. However, the only point of analysis I'll give you for this 3-0 stomp is that in this 3-0 stomp, Zika completely gapped Breathe. Okay? The top gap was crazy. Breathe has been playing really well at this tournament. He's been getting much better than what he was in the regionals. So they could be a bit more competitive. However, I do think the best option is still LNG. So I would go LNG if I was you. Weibo's a team that on one day could win Worlds and another day could lose to fucking FlyQuest or some shit or anyone. All right, Hamalife versus Bilibili. This is the hardest matchup to predict. You've got the #1 team from LCK versus the #1 team from the LPL. This is impossible to predict. BLG's form is looking weak at Worlds, but they're growing and they're learning a lot because they played more games in NHLE, so there's more evidence to show that BLG has been getting better. But Hamalife just kind of went 3-1. They only lost to Gen.G. However, I would predict Hamalife to win that. I would personally predict Hamalife to win that. It's up to you. I think both are correct. They both have 2 of the best AD carries in the world, Viper versus Elk. If you're going to watch Worlds 2024 and you're only like, maybe you're a T1 fan, maybe you're a Gen.G fan, I recommend if you're a League of Legends fan, Hamalife vs BLG is going to be the best series. This could possibly be the best series of Worlds. Small chance this could be a 5-game crazy series. This could be the best series of the whole tournament. So if you want to see the craziest team fights and shit, this is where it's at. Hamalife's a clutch team. BLG, On's looking inconsistent. Bin will have Jackspan against him. And Elk is looking crazy good. I would say Hamalife wins though. T1 versus Top Esports. We already saw this matchup. A lot. They played against each other. They played against each other many times. You'll remember T1 actually lost against them in the best of 1. T1 in that game, they had a really good early game. They kind of, if you remember the static Shiv incident, Jackie Love got a quadra kill at the blue buff fight. T1 kind of threw their early game lead. They had a pretty strong early game lead. They were up like 3k in 13 minutes, and they lost.
这个蓝 buff 想恶心一下吗？开起来了呀！小奶油这个位置有大，小奶油你给我大了2个，但这个位置感觉没有伤害呀 ！TS 啊！有吗？我操！有吗？谁说没伤害呀？谁说没伤害呀？哇！刚刚说 TS 没伤害的可以道歉吗？
I would still personally predict T1 to win this. They play against each other at EWC. T1 beat them. They play against each other at MSI as well. So EWC, they beat them in a 4-game series in spring. I don't think they did play against each other at MSI. Maybe I'm wrong. But anyway, Top Esports lost to G2 at MSI. I would predict T1 to win. I feel like T1 Worlds buff is undeniable. The easiest prediction from me is Gen.G versus FlyQuest. I think Gen.G will... I mean, even Papa Smithy, I was talking to him yesterday in the studio. And the one team he didn't want to draw was Gen.G. And they drew Gen.G. So I think, yeah, that was the one team they didn't want to draw. I feel like Gen.G is really reliable. Really reliable pick here. I don't want to say I've got all 4 correct. I feel like the 2 easiest matchups, not easiest. The easiest matchup to predict, I think, is Gen.G FlyQuest. The second easiest matchup to predict is probably LNG Weibo. I feel like LNG is just a better version of Weibo. T1 Top Esports. Top Esports have been looking good, but I do think T1 will win. T1's going into Worlds pretty well, and Hamalife BLG is the hardest. So these are my pick'ems for the quarterfinals of Worlds. LNG, Hamalife, T1 and Gen.G.
这变了个3拿，小天在干嘛？不是小天，哇，这滔博到底在干嘛？不是我们脑头被随便找5个上去，输的不会比滔博难看啊！我说真的，这打什么啊？这是晕了，从第1把晕到第3把，没有1把正常的感觉。